Some things are far less popular now, despite the objective coolness of them. The arena shooter is one of those things. Browsing the Steam page for the arena shooter tag doesn't really show that many results. There's some classics you can play, but sometimes you really want something fresh. As someone who got into PC gaming well over a decade after some of these came out, I can't bring myself to invest the time into trudging over a learning curve full of lobbies of people who've been playing the game since I was in diapers. Straftat fills an empty spot I didn't know existed. I've never really been a pro at gaming in general. I've never been captivated by one game on one platform for long enough to get crazy good at it. And my taste in games has been eclectic to the point where I've never really amassed a high amount of skill in any particular genre. Straftat, however, has let me appreciate a genre defined by high-octane movement and fast-paced gunplay without dedicating my life to grinding it. Made by the same people who made Babdi, Straftat contains the Lemater brothers? Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Signature grimy, stylized dystopian style, and some Source Engine-esque movement. But this time, instead of an atmospheric exploration game, it's a 1v1 first-person shooter. I don't really know where to start with this one, so I guess I'll just dive into the gameplay. Picture this scenario. You're in a building full of doors. You can hear your opponent opening the doors, and you can hear the doors getting louder and louder. You don't know where they are, but you can tell they're getting closer. You grab the gun off the ground in front of you, and you start opening doors for yourself. Suddenly you hear footsteps. They're getting close. The blast of some sort of antimatter laser gun takes you by surprise, but it just misses. Stepping out into the corridor, you let loose with the large gun, and a similar antimatter-like laser beam shoots out, pulverizing your enemy. You don't really know what just happened, but now you're in round 2. Now you only have a minimum of 16 maps to go. Every map in Straftat has some kind of idea to it. Maybe it's an AK-47 placed where you and your enemy are an equal distance away. Maybe it's a prison where you have nothing but some barrels, a few pistols, some claymores, and an SMG. Maybe it's a weird blocky level where you have to stun your opponent with a taser before you shoot them with your shotgun, or run them into a proximity mine. Every level has its own strategy, and every round you play makes you noticeably better at that particular map. You never run out of maps either. The base game has about 70, with another 70 available in the game's DLC, which is only $5. Each map introduces some way of playing, whether intended or otherwise, whether that be strategy, skill, or just plain trickery. You also don't need to own the maps in order to play them. As long as the party host has unlocked or bought them, you can play against them. This game is really an example of what more online games should be like. Nothing too complicated, just tons and tons of high-quality gameplay. Sure, there's a place for slightly more complex stuff, like Fortnite or Titanfall 2, but there's something nice about the simplicity of hopping into a game and immediately being in the action. There's very little downtime between rounds, the time to kill is really short, and there's never really too little or too much going on at one time. Maybe this game's strongest element, though, is its 1v1 format. Games like Counter-Strike lean heavily on team-based gameplay. Things get pretty standardized. X player goes down X route, where they'll probably meet Y player who's trying to hold them off with a sniper rifle or something. There's nothing really wrong with this style of gameplay, but if you play 100 rounds of Counter-Strike in random maps, you'll eventually have seen the majority of the scenarios that will happen on each map. It turns into a complicated game of checkers, a very fun one, where there are pretty set amounts of choke points in which engagements happen, and winning over those choke points can turn the game in one team's favor. When you play Straftat against a lone player, though, you never know what's going to happen. They could be anywhere, with any weapon. They could be behind you. They could be waiting for you to turn a corner so they can headshot you. If a game like Counter-Strike is a complicated game of checkers, Straftat is a simple game of chess. The movement is good, the gunplay is very good, and the overall vibes are impeccable. It's great to play with just about anyone, since it's also free and can run on a literal potato. Well, not literal, but you get the idea. Honestly, I can't really say enough positive things about this game. It's rare a free one comes along that has good gameplay and isn't just trying to make as much money as possible. You should pick it up as soon as possible. Thanks for watching until the end. Let me know what you think about Straftat or this video down below.
And